Hey there. Ever feel like your birthday is like cosmically significant?
Hmm. Yeah.
Well, today we're taking a deep dive into what makes January 5th special. And
Okay.
let me tell you, this book I found, Adam's birthday book,
Right.
it does not hold back.
It definitely has a unique voice.
Unique is one word for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the book calls January 5th the day of recovery. Kind of dramatic, right?
Right.
But then it goes on about this almost superhuman ability to bounce back from anything.
Wow.
Illness, bad luck, you name it.
Yeah.
You're basically comeback royalty,
Wow.
at least according to this book.
What I find interesting is the book suggests this isn't just blind optimism, but like a deep-seated self-belief.
Hmm.
It implies that for you, setbacks are tough. Sure.
Oh, yeah.
But they don't, like, crush your sense of self-worth.
Right.
You process.
Yeah.
And you move on.
So it's not about being unfazed,
Right.
but about having this inner strength to recover.
Yeah.
And the book really emphasizes how deeply you feel things, how committed you are, which makes this resilience even more impressive.
Right.
But before we get carried away,
Yeah.
there are some cautionary words in here too,
Right.
Rico.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The book specifically warns against complacency. It makes sense.
Yeah.
When you're used to overcoming, it'd be easy to hit a point of stability and think, okay, I've made it.
Right.
But that's when growth can stall, according to the author.
So how do you avoid that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's great to celebrate wins.
but not get stuck in them.
Exactly. The message here, and it's a good one for everyone,
Right.
not just January 5th birthdays,
Right.
is to find that balance.
Yeah.
Confidence from your wins,
Uh-huh.
but humility to keep learning.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, the book also dives into some classic birthday book territory, talking about your strengths.
Yeah.
And, well, maybe a few weaknesses, too.
Yeah.
It raves about how resourceful you are.
Okay.
Positive, natural leaders.
Wow.
It's a lot.
It's a very flattering description.
Right.
But to the book's credit, it doesn't just paint a rosy picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's got to be some balance.
Right. Yeah.
What kind of watch-outs does it give? One of the most interesting cautions is about being too optimistic, too reliant on logic.
Okay.
It suggests that sometimes you might underestimate the role of, well, irrationality.
Okay.
Not just in others, but in yourself, too.
So even though you're great at problem solving,
Right.
the book's saying to remember that not everything has a perfectly logical answer.
Right.
Right?
We all have those moments where feelings trump logic.
Right.
And acknowledging that even in yourself can make you a more well-rounded person and a more understanding leader.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
Now, this wouldn't be a proper birthday deep dive without a little numerology and tarot, would it?
Right.
Adam's birthday book links you to the number 5,
Okay.
the planet Mercury,
Right.
and throws in the Hierophant tarot card for good measure.
Wow.
I'll admit, this is where I always get a little curious.
It's definitely venturing into less scientific territory.
Right.
But instead of dismissing it outright,
Yeah.
I think these elements can be valuable if we see them as symbolic frameworks,
Right.
even if we don't take them literally.
So,
Right.
like, not fortune-telling, but more about using these ancient systems to understand ourselves better.
Exactly.
What would Mercury, for example,
Okay.
say about someone born on January 5th?
Well, Mercury is often associated with communication, intellect, adaptability.
Right.
Does that resonate with what we've discussed so far?
Actually, yeah. It does line up with that whole being resourceful, adaptable, natural leader thing.
Right.
What about the Hierophant? That one sounds kind of intense. It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But it's often seen as a symbol of seeking knowledge,
Oh, yeah.
understanding deeper meaning. So maybe for you that manifests as a love for learning a knack for explaining things, offering advice.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
I can definitely see that connection.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So we've got resilience,
Right.
leadership,
Yeah.
maybe a touch of the mystical. What else does this book say about the January 5th experience?
Well, shifting gears a bit.
Okay.
The book also touches on the topic of health
Oh, interesting.
for those born on January 5th.
What does it say?
Hmm.
Are we talking about like
No,
being
same-
prone to sniffles or
Yeah.
something more profound?
It's actually tied back to that incredible resilience we were discussing earlier.
Okay.
The book suggests that, in general,
Okay.
you tend to bounce back quickly
Yeah.
from both physical and emotional setbacks.
That tracks with everything else we've talked about,
But-
but I'm guessing there's more to it than that.
Right. It emphasizes the importance of preventative health,
Okay.
even for those who are naturally resilient.
So not taking good health for granted,
Right.
even with that inherent bounce-back ability.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that resilience is a resource,
Right.
not an excuse to neglect self-care.
Okay.
The book stresses the importance of listening to your body,
Right.
staying active, and not ignoring those early warning signs.
Yeah.
Just because you're confident you'll recover quickly anyway.
That's a really good point.
Right.
It's like just because you can power through anything
Right.
doesn't mean you always should.
Right.
Sometimes taking a step back, taking care of yourself
Right.
is the smarter move.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's about playing the long game with your well-being, not just relying on those short-term bursts of resilience.
So if we're talking about health,
Right.
I'm curious,
Okay.
does the book connect that back to any of the strengths and weaknesses we talked about earlier?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
It doesn't explicitly make those connections.
Right.
But I think we can see how understanding your own tendencies
Okay.
could lead to a more holistic approach to health.
Right.
For example.
Yeah.
Knowing that you might be prone to pushing yourself,
Right.
to relying on logic over intuition,
Right.
can encourage you to prioritize practices that promote self-awareness and stress reduction.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's like if you know you're wired to be on the go,
Right.
you might need to be extra intentional about building in downtime.
Right.
Making sure you're taking care of your mental and emotional health, not just powering through.
Precisely.
Okay.
It's about working with your strengths and weaknesses
Yeah.
to create a sustainable approach to well-being.
Yeah. Okay, I'm really starting to see a theme here.
Yeah.
It feels like so much of what we've unpacked about January 5th
Yeah.
is about finding that sweet spot
Right.
between confidence and humility, action and reflection.
Right.
Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's about owning your strengths,
Uh-huh.
your ability to overcome challenges,
Right.
but also acknowledging that there's always more to learn, more to experience, and more to understand, both about yourself
Yeah.
and the world around you.
It's about embracing the journey with
Right.
all its ups and downs and, yes, those amazing comebacks too.
Yeah.
Speaking of journeys, Adam's birthday book leaves us with a very intriguing thought to ponder.
Okay.
It says, "This world may be but a set of symbols for a higher form of existence."
Okay.
Now, whether you subscribe to that philosophy or not,
Right.
I think it opens up some fascinating questions, right? It definitely makes you think about the bigger picture, you know?
It really does. Yeah.
Like, what if it's not just about getting through the to-do list,
Right.
but about uncovering some greater purpose, even if we don't have all the answers? It feels kind of exciting to look at life that way, don't you think?
I agree. There's a sense of wonder in that perspective.
Right.
Yeah. It reminds me of that quote, "The unexamined life is not worth living." This idea from the book, it encourages us to do exactly that.
Yeah.
To question, to explore,
Right.
to stay open to the possibility that there's more to discover than meets the eye.
And isn't that what this whole deep dive has been about?
Exactly.
We took this, enthusiastic birthday book and we pulled out some really interesting threads about what makes January 5th unique.
And we uncovered some insights.
Right.
It applied to everyone,
Right.
not just those born on January 5th.
Exactly. We talked about resilience, about balancing confidence with humility, about approaching life as this constant journey of growth.
Absolutely. And we even found some food for thought in the numerology and tarot connections.
Right.
Even if those aren't usually your go-to explanations.
For sure. So, for all you January 5th folks out there,
Right.
I hope this deep dive has given you some things to ponder.
Yeah.
Maybe even a fresh perspective on what your birthday means. And for everyone else,
Yeah.
remember these insights are universal.
Absolutely.
We can all benefit from embracing our inner strength,
Yeah.
staying open to new ways of seeing the world,
Right.
and yes,
Please.
celebrating those comebacks, big and small.
Absolutely.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking those big questions, and most importantly, keep being amazing.